Welcome to the Industry Angel podcast. This series of episodes were live streamed on June 19th and the audio was downloaded as podcast episodes just for you. Stay safe, my friends, and keep in touch. Okay, then today we have one of the most positive women I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. Her outlook is inspirational. The founder of Adventurous Coaching and the creator of the Mental Fitness Kitbag. Welcome to the Industry Angel, Polly Brennan.
Woo! I'm here. Thank you very much.
Where is here? Where are you?
Downtown New York.
Nice.
I've had lots of IT problems today, so I had to run last minute to a friend's house and just try and set myself up last minute. So I'm here.
Don't talk to me about IT problems. I was a few minutes late, and our Gillian was having a panic attack in the green room, waiting for me to return. So
technology is not my friend. I'm developing a new mantra about that, which is like, I am in the process of mastering technology. I'm having to work really hard on that one today.
You look like King Kong climbing the Empire State Building.
Yeah, I'll do that after.
Well, do you know what it is? You probably would, because you are some adventurer, Michael. I love your social media stuff. I'm sure lots of people do. You're always up to something special. You're always up to some beautiful activity, and you inspire us a lot. Sometimes I'll see you and you'll just be on your bike, or you'll be down the beach and we have a little fire, and I'm like, I'm doing that. I'm going to go and do that because Polly does it.
Well, it's really just a reminder to other people that nothing that I do is particularly clever. It's just that I'm doing it, and that we can all get out and have a wee micro adventure, or kind of what's going on. So even in the middle of a pandemic, there are adventures to be had. Believe it or not, there are. They can be done.
Look at this slapper here.
Hey! Oh, you stop it. We should be friends. Call me.
Your lighting's wonderful.
But hey, after this, when we're done here, I'm going off up the coast to learn how to surf.
Brilliant. Where are you going?
Amble.
I thought fantastic.
Head north, get a bit closer to home.
Have you done the weather check? How's the swell looking? Is there a good pressure?
Well, there's weather, so as long as there's weather, it's all good.
Good. I've spent many a year in the North Sea, I tell you.
Oh. Right
then, so talking about your social media then, what I loved was a special relationship that you've had on social media with a friend of yours. And it was really inspiring to see you two sharing adventures and sharing the methods and the coaching that you give people, Polly. So we're going to bring your friend in shortly, but before we do that, do you want to give us a little bit of a heads up about what kind of things that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I help people to create a kit bag for life, really. So it's about your mental fitness, because I think we think about packing our gym bag, or we think about how we pack to go to a class and we work out, but actually our mental health really is all about having the right kit as well. And this is all about overcoming the challenges of being human and finding solutions to obstacles that we're faced with in life, and finding ways to overcome roadblocks and to become even more resilient, and to bounce back and to feel stronger in our lives and in our businesses, because this just really boosts our potential for happiness and success. And I believe that we all have mental health. We all have the potential to be really, really well and not so well, and that we can learn the skills and tools that we might need, and that we already have skills and tools. So sometimes people think mental health is a special thing that they don't know about, but we're all managing our mental health every day. But it's also possible to be glasses half full and top up. So what I really want is to help people continue to evolve and build, I suppose, mental wealth, and the things we do every day accumulate like money in the bank towards our wealth. And I think it's really, really important that we all pay attention to that and think about how we can have more, be more, and do more. So John and I have done quite a lot of outdoors adventuring, and they've been training. I guess it's been training for some of the big challenges that he's done, and he'll tell you more about that. But we got outdoors and trained together, and whilst we've been strengthening our muscles and John's been getting ready for big events, we've been thinking about his mental fitness muscles too, and thinking about how he's going to have, I guess, the mindset to take him forward, and have the opportunity to rally a good, strong team. To help him with all the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows, and just really feeling ready for action. And I guess these are probably all things that have been talked about today, and they're really important, and they translate to anything from an adventure or a challenge to everyday life, and especially to the world of being in business. So yeah, I guess that's just a wee bit about what I do.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, that's a great place to bring John in then. So, military veteran, ex-forces PTI and Field Gunner, who was on HMS Coventry 38 years ago when she was bombed and sank in 20 minutes. An advocate for mental health and fundraiser. Welcome to the industry angel, John Mew. Hi, John.
Hi, hello. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you fine, my friend.
Good.
Nice of you to join us. You got it all right. We'll let you in.
Yeah, I was fine. It was just because I've got PTSD, when I'm totally out of my box, I really struggle with the most basic things. I got in though. So
we've just been talking about that, John. We've just been saying how technology can be quite stressful, but we did it. We're here.
We're here. I got on all right, so I'm quite pleased.
Well, I'm really pleased to hear, John. It's an honour to have you, my friend. And as I say, I've watched with actual inspiration the two of you getting up to mischief and getting up to your adventures.
Oh.
So
I wouldn't say it was mischief. It was hard work.
Yes, you're right. Actually, in terms of that hard work, John, would you mind telling us a few of the challenges that you've set yourself and how hard they were?
Well, the first challenge actually was I had a bit of a flashback a few years ago, and I actually sat down a couple of days later on a park bench and I did my story. I just talked about the whole thing, why, said I had PTSD, went through it all, and I think within 3 days I had about 74,000 hits, and that was just one 10-minute video I put on Facebook. But actual challenges, a couple of years ago I did the SAS selection route over Penny Farn with £25 on my back. I did that in, I think it was 5 hours 40, so I was really chuffed with that. And the help I got was obviously through Polly, Ford Assist, the Veterans Charity up here in Dudley, Newcastle Falcons Foundation, where I did a lot of my training because I was just going up and down the West Stand, which was so boring. But I actually become friends with quite a lot of the Falcons players. So it was really, it was really good. They'd actually come up and down the steps with me on occasions just to keep me company. So that was good. The following year, I did that challenge for SAFA and Ford Assist, the Veterans Charity, was what I think was about £6,500 I raised for that one.
Well done. Don't you have to go around the route and then come back round, John? Is that what you do?
Yeah, you actually start at
the phone box.
The famous red phone box. The first 2.5 mile is just constantly uphill. You get the top of Penny Farn, and then you look down the other side and you've got Jacob's Ladder. I don't know if it's true or not, but I sort of heard that the reason it's called Jacob's Ladder is because you can actually put a ladder on it and climb the ladder. That's how steep it is. Wow. But I mean, that was 2.5 miles to the top, and then you've got to go 7 miles is halfway, so it's all downhill. That wasn't too bad, but you've then got to come back and do Jacob's Ladder. And to be honest, at the end of it, I was crippled. I think I finished it. I sat in the back of a car, took my boots off, and within 10 minutes, I couldn't walk. So I had to be helped, back to, I can't remember the place. But anyway, where the digs were, I was absolutely wasted. The following year,
I was going to say, I think in terms of mental strength, John, do they try and break you by telling you to go back round the route again that you've just come down? Is that a bit of a...
Well, I mean, it's the SAS test route. People do
Yeah.
people do it. If they can do it, they will then be thought of and may be selected for the challenge. If they can't do it, they don't even get the choice, so they don't. But it is mental. But I think for me, because I'd done so much for it and I had so many people behind me, I just had to put one foot in front of the other, and I could not give up. I just could not. And yes, that's mental strength. But when it comes to fitness stuff, I'm always like that. I've always got that, I'm not going to give up here. And that happened in the next challenge, where I was Hadrian's Wall, the 86 miles, west to east, the same burden on my back. And I did it with somebody called Darren Grego from Newcastle Falcons Foundation, because the two charities were Forward Assist again and the Falcons Foundation. So Darren said he would do it with me. 86 miles. We split it up. We had Forward Assist. They were like our backup team. So they always had the vans, tea, coffee, etc. for us at the water stops. So the first day, I think we were going to do 28 miles, but it absolutely poured down for the whole day. We were absolutely drenched. Some of the sand banks on the river over Carlisle, I can't remember what it's called, you couldn't go along, so we had detoured. So some of our water stops weren't there. I couldn't use my phone because I couldn't get it out of a plastic bag, so I couldn't phone them up and tell them. And when we did manage to do that, our hands were so wet it wouldn't recognise your phone. So we were totally snookered. So we were absolutely drenched. And we got 3/4 along that first day. Darren and I will always laugh about this one. We got lost. He called it Indiana Jones territory, because it was just like Indiana Jones, vines everywhere. We had to climb up the banks to get out and slide down because it was so wet and muddy. But we did it. We had the digs that night. Our boots were soaking wet. Luckily enough, the person who had us there, they actually stuffed our boots with paper so that they would dry the next morning, because if they weren't, it was a nightmare. And even Darren said he didn't think that we would make it after the whole thing was over. But we did. Second day wasn't too bad because it wasn't raining, but I must admit I had trench foot after day one. So I was walking on needles for the next 2 days. We stayed at the director of rugby at Newcastle Falcons on the Saturday night, and he volunteered to look after us, Dean Richards. That was awesome. It was really good. And he joined in some of the routes, not all of them, obviously, because he's got injuries as well. And the last day, I had a couple of friends from home join in. I had Melanie McGee again from the foundation. She joined in, and we basically finished it. And we did the 86 miles. Darren worked it out. It was actually the 86 miles in 31 hours.
Excellent stuff.
But
Wow.
I did have blisters, and I couldn't wear shoes for a couple of days. It was all just socks and slippers. Later on that year, or last year, because I raised that money for SAFA, I got an invite onto the STS Lord Nelson, which is a tall ships. She's been mothballed now, unfortunately, but it was to celebrate the 75 years of Normandy landing. I think it was September we did it, but we actually, you got to laugh at this one. We actually got out into the, we left from the Thames under the main bridge, got into the channel, and have a guess what we hit. Come on, have a guess.
Storm or something?
Gale Force 10.
Right.
Gale Force 10. And we were basically like that. We didn't go anywhere. And we had to, that night, we had to come into, the following night, we had to come into the Isle of Wight in Portsmouth.
Right.
Following morning, we set off, got nowhere, Gale Force 10. And basically, we just turned around and come back. Mm-hmm. But the weather was horrendous. I actually didn't mind it because being an ex-Navy guy, I think I was the only one who wasn't seasick. Mm-hmm. I didn't take any tablets. I just wasn't seasick. I did, though, manage to get to the top of the mainmast, the bird mast, climbing up the rigging. So that was my goal. So I was really, really chuffed with that.
You've got a fabulous video, John, as well, haven't you, of you climbing the mast? and
Yeah,
saluting and doing your thing.
there was two of us. He was an ex-button boy years ago, HMS, I can't remember. Anyway, we actually climbed it, one either side, step by step, tried to, in unison, all the way to the top. And then we just turned outwards, got a bollocking because we were supposed to have 3 points of contact all the time. And we both saluted, one forward, one after. And it went down really well. So that's it.
Brilliant, John. Thanks for sharing.
2 challenges.
We've got some comments coming in, and this is a friend of mine, Simon. We did the coast to coast last year, and it was a breeze. It was a breeze compared to what you've done. And we've got a friend of mine, Graham, an ex-para there, can kind of relate to struggles with PTSD and mental illness. And in terms of that managing your mental health, you put yourself under more struggling in tight and conditions such as the challenges you've set yourself, John, and I can't understand why is it a way of healing, of helping?
I think for me, I have to have little targets.
Okay.
Little targets all the time, with a goal at the end. The biggest one I can really say is, when I was diagnosed, I was after I'd been at Hollybush House in Scotland and done my therapy, I was asked by our local rugby club, because I'd been there for years, my kids were there, they saw me deteriorate right down. Once I'd done the therapy, Tom Bramall and John Chappell, they're the big boys at the club, they actually asked my wife, Christine, do you think John would like to help us backstage? But they were too frightened to ask him, because it was like being a water boy. And because I was a physical training instructor, I might have said no. However, she said yes. I've been involved there now for 2 years, right? And I do everything behind the scenes. Sometimes it's on my own, but I really do enjoy it, because I think it's because it's sport. Everybody who's doing it wants to do it, so they're all positive. So for me, I have to be around positive people all the time. So I get a lot of satisfaction there. And it's the same with the Veterans Charity Forward Assist. Paula and Tony there, I can go there anytime. I can have a chat, have a cup of coffee, and it's always really positive. And then the same goes the Falcons Foundation, sport again. If I'm feeling down, I can go there, have a cup of coffee. I can talk to the players if they're free. I get a lot of respect, and that gives me the things to move forward. In a way, it's, if I'm around negative people, I will go down very, very quickly. Yeah. I'll start to isolate myself, but I've learned through Polly Forward Assist to see these triggers, so I know it's happening, so I know what I've got to do, if that makes sense.
You've learned to take your challenges and turn them into opportunities, which is a really massive thing to do. And I guess what you're talking about, John, is about the power, understanding the power of a team. Really massive shout out to Forward Assist. They're really small but mighty, a really unique veterans charity in the Northeast. And as you mentioned, the Falcons Foundation have been incredible. But I guess what you're talking about is you've chosen the right people around you to support you and scaffold you and top you up. And that's been really important. And I guess that's what we all need to do, isn't it? It's find the right people around us.
I think during the lockdown, it's been interesting, because at the start of the lockdown, I got involved with some ex-Navy lads that I know, and they put basically a challenge out, and it was a 7-day challenge, 7 workouts, 7 days. It was going on Twitter. It was being put around, and they were doing it to raise money for the NHS. I really enjoyed it, but I was with positive people speaking all the time. And then another one was, I'm halfway through with Polly, 25 press-ups a day for 25 days, and it's for mental health awareness and suicide awareness. So I do that every day. So I look forward to doing that. But the people I nominate, they put it on my site so I can see them. So there's a lot of sort of banter going around. It's always positive. It's really good. So
I've never saw
that's
anybody do a press up so strictly and impressively as you, John.
I know.
And obviously your next PTI.
No, well, I am 63, mine, so give me a break.
Fittest 63-year-old I know, John Mew.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just mention something about when John and I started working together? One of the things we did was almost like a skills inventory of John's capabilities from the past when he was in the forces. And we looked at all the kind of things that had been really important to him, like, for you, having a visibility, being in a position of sort of training and supporting other people, the physical health thing, and being a go-to guy for other people. And I guess what we did was we worked out how to pull all those competencies together and to create a way forward for the future. And I guess that's why right here, right now, you're someone that you do big challenges to raise funds. You speak about mental health because your mental health challenges have really affected you, and you want other people to learn from what you've been through. And I guess this sort of that public persona, using your voice, using your challenges and your experiences to help other people become such an important thing. And that's why you're such an awesome person, because you're out there doing that and inspiring us all.
Thank you.
So
nice words.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Well, see, there's not much long left. So I think I mentioned to you before, Ian, about reading a poem out. If I could do that.
I tell you what it is, John. Let's leave that at the end, because you said we haven't got long left. We've got as long as we want, because we're here.
Because you're the boss.
Actually, my iPad's I keep watching the battery because it's going down, but I'm on 66%, so you can have a little while.
Well, don't you worry about it, because I want to know about some of the kind of tough challenges that you've done, John. Like, what is the toughest thing that you look back on that you have achieved or been through?
The toughest thing I would say the sinking of the Coventry. Okay. But that was, I don't really want to sort of talk too much about that one, obviously, because it brings back some bad memories. The toughest things I've been through, to be honest, the first one you have to say is the field gun at Earls Court. I ran for Portsmouth Field Gun in 78 and 84 at Earls Court in the Royal Tournament. I mean, it's just so hard. It's so fit. The gun's so heavy, and you train and train and train. But it's the feeling when it's all over. I mean, the gun barrel weighs 900 weight alone. The carriage is, I think, 350 pounds. So you're talking about throwing a ton and a half of gear over a wall in sort of 2 minutes 40 seconds. Well, sorry, 2 walls and a chasm in 2 minutes 40 seconds. But that is one of the big things that I remember. Penny Fan at the age of 62, that's another one. I mean, to me, that is pretty awesome. But then if I look at Hadrian's Wall, that's totally different again, because that was over 3 days, and I think the mindset for that one was after day one, it's like, you can't give this up now, knowing I had just about had transfer. Darren felt exactly the same, but he wouldn't say a word. We just heads down and got on and did it. So they're all hard things that I will remember for a long time. But there's other things as well in a way, but it's not so much physically. When I was at Forward Assist, I really struggled to talk. I think it took ages for me and Polly to actually get talking properly. Yeah. But Forward Assist sent me to, I think it was Newcastle University, to do a debating society just for the veterans. That really helped me. That helped me a lot. And we ended up going to Parliament, had a Forward Assist, did a presentation in Parliament. And my actual poem was read out and was requested by, I think it was by the Secretary of State. Don't know what happened to it, but I don't know. So that was another one. If I go back to STS Lord Nelson, that was totally different again. I mean, that was me going back to sea. There were certain things I was absolutely petrified about. Not so much the Gale Force 10, because I've been through worse, but it was a small ship. However, on the day we got there, we had to go through tests. I had like a team leader. She was a nurse, and she sat next to me because she knew they were going to set fire alarms off. Okay. And I wouldn't say I freaked out, but I was shaking like a leaf. And then if you take, when you say the fire alarms going off, I mentioned earlier about, I did that 9-minute video about my life, which I got all those hits from. That was because I was at Ponteland Rugby Club, where I feel so at home with. It's fine, but the fire alarms went off. I lost it. So, you know, the fire alarms is another key thing. I think some of the problems I do have, it's just the day-to-day living of the stressful things that go on. If I've got a set routine, I'm okay. But if things change drastically or quickly, and I've got to rechange everything, I get all flustered.
So it's interesting, John. Your training's prepared you for the biggest challenges, but sometimes the biggest challenges are everyday life things, aren't they?
It's just I don't know, you know. But at least I will say, at least I know, I can see the signs. I know what's going on, and I know what to do to rectify it. At the minute, it's my 25 push-ups a day. So if I've had a bad morning, I know, right, I'm going to just go out, do my 25, and it gives me a bit of a buzz, bit of a kick up. And obviously it goes on Facebook, and then the comments I get back from some of the other PTIs, other people that are doing it, it's good banter. So that can bring me back onto the high again to get out of it.
John, who inspires you, John? Maybe in the past or maybe now, who do you see out there that you look up to and you get strength from?
I can't really answer that one. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I joined the Navy and there was loads of people, not one particular one. It's just everybody you're around is positive, especially in the PT branch. You're probably the biggest extroverts under the sun, you know, with what you've got to do. But obviously with the sinking of the Coventry, I went downhill rapidly. So, and I think, because when I left the Navy, I went commercial diving for a while. And that was very much similar to the Navy, because back then, most people were ex-military, work away for 6, 7, 8 weeks, sometimes 3 months. I would come home. My wife was at home. I would be on leave for 4 weeks, and I'd go back to work, 12-hour shifts, 90 days, and it just carries on constantly. I think more the people who have inspired me in a way, I would think, are the people around me now have brought me back from what I was to what I am today. A lot. I mean, I've still got a long way to go because I still have issues and problems, and you know. But at least I know I can phone up Polly up. I can phone up Paula at Forward Assist. I can go to the Falcons. You know, I can just sit there and have a coffee, and they'll come up to me. You know, so they are it's sort of like my team.
Thanks, John. Thank you so much for sharing that. How about you do some more sharing, and we hear about this famous poem of yours?
Yeah, right. When I was up at Hollybush House doing my trauma work, you do all sorts of different sort of classes on top of the trauma work. You do art, all sorts, and it's just to try and get you to express yourself and to bring yourself out. So anyway, I wrote this poem. Here we go. I love you through my anger, in between my fits of rage. I want us to be happy, but I struggle to turn the page. I see you're the answer to everything I prayed. I then get mad and leave the room. I wish I had stayed. My love just wants to hold your hand, but my anger doesn't care. I feel the weight you carry. It isn't really fair. I gave my country everything the day I went to war. Thought the cost would be my life, but it turned out to be more. I look into my children's eyes. It isn't really fair. I'm in my own dark world. They think I do not care. I found the help after 30 years. Hollybush House, thank you. You're the one who care. Christine, Francesca, Elliot, and Larry too. Your husband and dad loves you. So true.
Fantastic,
Wow.
John. Thanks so much for sharing that. Yeah, I can see that is from the heart, my friend. And I think the whole reason they may have asked or suggested you wrote such words was in a poem was to express and to get those thoughts out of your heart and your mind. Yeah.
I've never been the best writer, as it were. it's always been physical stuff, but it was just when you were up there, we were doing all sorts of stuff, and you had plenty of time to think about things and sort things out. And I just said, I'm going to do it. And I wrote it and I showed it to the staff at Hollybush House, and they thought it was amazing. So I put it on Facebook.
Fantastic.
And that's it. And it's gone everywhere, but I don't know where.
Brilliant. John, before we wrap this whole day up, is there anything that I haven't asked you, or is there anything else you would like to share with the viewers?
No, not really. Just it's the biggest thing about the whole thing is having a positive team around you, people that you can support, talk to, and you can get help from as and when needed. But it's keep away from people who are negative, because for me it just totally knocks me back. And once I start going downhill, it's very hard to come back.
Thanks, John. Thanks for your open and honest approach. Polly, come on, over to you before we go.
Well, we've been talking about John and all the sort of strategies that he finds really helpful. And when John and I have been talking about packing his mental fitness kit bag, and I guess some of the things that we'd learned really apply to all of us, and especially, we're talking about business and thriving and getting out there again. So I suppose if I just could share one or two things that we talked a lot about when we've been coaching. We talked a lot about the power of sort of self-care, whatever that means to you. It's something very personal and unique to each of us, because I guess what that's about is being really energized and really topped up and ready for anything. John and I have talked a lot about taking control and taking action, and maybe some of these things have already been talked about this morning. But again, that's about sort of knowing what you can control and taking control of what's within your power and accepting what you can't. And I think John's got himself really clear on what is in his power to control. And we'd learned a lot about how he's taken action, to really thrive and have a really impactful life. John, you talked a lot about mindset and really having to dig deep at times and really choose a mindset that's going to drive you forward, and using those adrenaline spikes to take you forward, not hold you back. Because I guess that's something that we all need in our lives, don't we? We need to find solutions, and we need to see our challenges as opportunities. And when you shift your mindset on that, anything's possible, really. We talked about we try and work really hard on celebrating the successes that happen along the way, because on some days a really small success is really significant. On the tough days, a small win is really, really significant. And I guess some days all we can do is just go only as slow as the slowest part of us feels safe to go, and that's enough. And managing expectations. And so we have to really celebrate all the small and big wins that happen around us every day. Rallying our team, you talked a lot about the importance of your clan, having the right people around you that you can touch base with. So important. And again, I guess in business, that's really important too, isn't it? We know who's around us that's going to help us, and we know who to go to for scaffolding and cheerleading and all that sort of stuff. And finally, I suppose it's about all of that helps us fire on all cylinders, doesn't it? Because we just kick the ass out of life. Somebody told me recently that we're here for a good time, not for a long time. So taking that on board, as well as being really impactful in our business or in our lives, we also have to focus on how we can be out of office thrivers. So I think that's a good note to finish on, isn't it?
It is. Thanks so much for summarising that, Polly. That was a great little summary there. So, okay, then we'll let you two go. John, again, thanks so much for your open, honest transparency, and thank you for your service, my friend.
Thank you too. Thank you. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thanks for having us, Ian Farrar. We'll be back for more.
You'll be back for more. This is the second time you've joined us, Paul.
No, but if you invite me again, I'll think about it.
You go and have a good time, sister.
Yeah, thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Have a brilliant Friday.
Well, there you go. Wow, what a morning. Let's have a look at some of these comments. There's one from Gillian there, made her cry. Well, we've laughed, we've cried, we've talked about some very important topics again. And as usual, we've gone through a roller coaster of emotions, but that's what this is all about. Hearing from different people from different walks of life with really, very diverse views and lifestyles and businesses and job roles. There's nothing better for me. There's nothing better. And, I think there's been a lot of love for John there. Thanks so much for joining us. Continue to stay safe, my friends. Continue to keep your mental kit bag full. Have your adventures. Don't get too overwhelmed with this whole situation. Hopefully we will get back to business together. Okay, much love. I'll see you all very soon.